Thank you for choosing Brain-Tease.
Let's take a trip. Imagine it's the year 1891. You're in a small gym in Springfield, Massachusetts. It's cold, the students are restless, and a Canadian doctor named James Naismith is trying to stop teenagers from fighting during recess. So what does he do? He grabs a soccer ball, 2 peach baskets, and writes down 13 simple rules. And just like that, basketball is born. In this video, we're going to break down the full history of basketball. From that first indoor game to the global NBA empire we know today. No fluff, just a full-court pass through time. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The Invention of the Game. In December of 1891, James Naismith, a physical education teacher at the YMCA International Training School, was given a task. Create a new indoor game to keep his students active during the winter. He nailed 2 peach baskets to opposite ends of the gym, handed out a soccer ball, and divided the class into 2 teams of 9 players each. The goal was simple: throw the ball into the opposing team's basket. But it wasn't exactly the game we know today. There was no dribbling, no three-point line, no backboards. And whenever someone scored, they had to stop the game so someone could climb a ladder and retrieve the ball from the basket. At the time, it was just called basketball. 2 words. And the very first game ended with a final score of 1-0. Not exactly an offensive explosion. Still, the students loved it, and word spread fast. Chapter 2. Early Growth and College Basketball. Within just a few years, basketball exploded in popularity. YMCA instructors took the game around the country and even overseas. By 1893, women were playing organized games at colleges like Smith College. By the early 1900s, universities across the United States were forming competitive teams. In 1906, the peach baskets were finally replaced with metal hoops and nets. Around that same time, players started developing new skills like passing, pivoting, and eventually dribbling. Basketball was growing, but it still looked very different from what we watch today. College basketball became the center of attention. In 1939, the first NCAA tournament was held. The University of Oregon won that first championship, and the tournament would eventually grow into what we now call March Madness. Chapter 3. Professional basketball begins. While college ball was taking off, professional basketball was still trying to find its footing. Several early leagues formed and collapsed in the early 1900s. But in 1946, the Basketball Association of America, or BAA, was founded. One of the first official games was played between the New York Knicks and the Toronto Huskies. 3 years later, in 1949, the BAA merged with its rival, the National Basketball League, to form what we now know as the NBA, the National Basketball Association. At the start, there were 17 teams, but many of them quickly folded or moved to new cities. It was a rocky beginning, but the league had serious potential. In 1950, Chuck Cooper became the first black player drafted into the NBA, and Earl Lloyd became the first to play in a game. The league was changing. Chapter 4. The Rise of the NBA. Through the 1950s and 60s, the NBA started to gain real momentum. The Boston Celtics, led by coach Red Auerbach and superstar Bill Russell, won 11 championships in 13 years. Russell became one of the most dominant defensive players in history and a symbol of excellence on and off the court. Meanwhile, Wilt Chamberlain was rewriting the record books. He scored 100 points in a single game and averaged over 50 points per game in a single season. Yes, 50. Per game. The league was still small and games weren't always broadcast nationally, but the talent was undeniable. Then came the 1970s. Players like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Julius Erving, better known as Dr. J, brought style and creativity to the game. Irving's high-flying dunks made him a fan favorite and helped grow the NBA's popularity. Chapter 5. The ABA and the Three-Point Line. While the NBA was growing, a rival league emerged in 1967, the American Basketball Association, or ABA. The ABA did things differently. They introduced the red, white, and blue basketball. They focused on flashier play, faster pace, and big personalities, and most importantly, they introduced the three-point line. At first, the NBA laughed at the idea. Why reward someone for taking a shot farther from the basket? But the fans loved it, and eventually the NBA would adopt the three-point line too. In 1976, the NBA and ABA officially merged. 4 ABA teams joined the NBA: the Spurs, Pacers, Nuggets, and Nets, and many ABA players, including Julius Erving, became household names. Chapter 6. The Golden Era, 1880s and 90s. If the NBA hadn't already taken over the world, it certainly did in the 1880s. The rivalry between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson turned the NBA into must-watch TV. Bird played for the Celtics. Magic P. played for the Lakers. They faced off in the finals 3 times in the decade and brought millions of new fans to the game. Then came Michael Jordan. Jordan was drafted by the Chicago Bulls in 1984. By the 1990s, he was dominating the league. He led the Bulls to 6 championships, won 5 MVP awards, and became one of the most famous athletes on the planet. The NBA exploded globally. Games were broadcast around the world. Kids in every country wanted to be like Mike. And in 1992, the Dream Team, led by Jordan, Magic, and Bird, went to the Olympics and crushed the competition. It was the first time NBA players played in the Olympics, and it introduced the sport to a truly global audience. Chapter 7. Modern NBA and the Global Game. In the 2000s, a new generation of stars carried the torch. Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, Dirk Nowitzki, Shaquille O'Neal. The game became more international than ever before. Players from Europe, Asia, South America, and Africa were becoming superstars in the NBA. Then came LeBron James. He was drafted in 2003 and has spent over 2 decades as one of the most dominant and consistent players in league history. Multiple championships, MVPs, all-star selections. LeBron has defined an entire era of basketball. In recent years, the game has evolved again. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors changed how the game is played. With a focus on spacing, ball movement, and three-point shooting, teams started taking more shots from behind the arc than ever before. Today's NBA is faster, more skilled, and more global than it's ever been. Players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama are leading the next generation of the league. Outdoor basketball started as a simple indoor activity with a soccer ball and 2 peach baskets. Now it's one of the most popular sports in the world. Millions of people play it. Millions more watch it. And from high school gyms to international arenas, the game keeps growing. One thing's for sure, James Naismith had no idea what he started back in 1891. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments. Who's your all-time favorite player? See you next time.
Thanks for choosing
right here on
Brain-Tease.
Brain-Tease.
See you next time.